Do you think we should write some new music?
I don't know, because every time this turns on when I'm listening or recording, it's kind of nostalgic now. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's our calling card.
I think so.
I just realized that we don't have a dad's joke keyed up for this one, and
the
that's
last
like
one,
our thing is like we like to tell
dad joke.
The dad joke, yeah. So we're just gonna go like we're gonna go just off the cuff and like no. Okay, here we go. Ready?
No preparation.
Yeah, no prep. no.
That's different
from that's different from. What do you get when the sunrise bends over?
Wait a
Moons
second.
over my hammy.
What do you get? That's a good one.
My favorite dish at
Denny's.
Denny's.
At Denny's, yeah. What do you get when the sunrise bends over? The crack of dawn. That's really bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a super special guest, friend of the Tucson cycling scene for sure, Mr. Ben. You want to introduce yourself?
Ben Chandler, owner of Ben's Bikes and peddler of anything with two wheels and no motor, which
Wait, I've seen you pedal something with a motor recently.
unfortunately is not completely accurate anymore. And definitely try to ride at the speed of fun. And
I like
That's
that.
a great speed at the speed of fun. We're gonna steal that.
So perfect.
Hey man, one of the things that we like to do is find out if you have a nickname, and if you don't have one, you'll probably have one before you get off this podcast today.
Oh, man. All right.
Do you have a nickname that you're willing to share with the world?
Well, two. One is from when I was a junior racer, and it's just Mr. Speedy.
Okay.
Oh,
The other one, as you know, all good nicknames are granted, not chosen.
yes. Yeah.
So I was belittled into riding ragbri. Being from Iowa, I'd never ridden the Register's annual Great Ride Across Iowa, bike ride across Iowa.
Wait, is that what it's stands? I didn't know that was what it stood for.
Ragbri, yeah.
Okay.
Something, it's close to that. And so I went with this group, and of course they all have nicknames from multiple trips across ragbri. And I didn't have one given to me by them. And so we're riding through across Iowa, and we go through one of the small towns, and there is a small girl on the side of the course, and she's got those soapy bubbles, and she's making bubbles like crazy, going all over the place. And so, you know,
Was this an older girl or a young girl?
little one,
Okay.
little one, you know, playing with the little bubble.
No, that's
making
fine. I was going to ask a question, but I won't because she was a young girl.
And so, you know, I went over and I went through her bubbles in hopes to make her happy, because I
They
think
called
she
you
would.
Bubbles. Is Bubbles your nickname?
You
I
got
don't
it.
think I can ever
That's
call
what
you
this-
anything but
Oh,
Bubbles.
great.
Ben's bubbles.
Yeah. So I did not get to choose that. It chose me.
That couldn't have been better,
Yeah,
man.
it is perfect.
So there's people that are, you know, there's Tater, there is what's the other one? Of the guys' name is like it has something to do with like Hosie cow or something like that, because his
Right.
bike was black and white like a Holstein cow going across to Iowa.
Hosie.
Oh, they've got all kinds of
So these are your buddies. Their nicknames.
yeah, most of them.
And yours is and yours is bubbles.
I kind of was regretting maybe my decision to go with them across on ragbri, but you know, I had to do it. I've never done it being from Iowa, and they were like, come do it. I think they only wanted me because I was a mechanic, and if they broke something,
You could be there to fix
I
it.
could fix it for them.
So, are you going to regret telling us that? No, because you know people are going to start coming in the shop and calling you Bubbles now.
Well,
There's bubbles there.
you know, it's
the owner.
yeah, it's 22 years in the Air Force. I've had much worse
right.
called of me.
Right,
So,
right.
Nice.
you know, Bubbles is the least that I could have. So,
It's a great story.
yeah, it's and I guess that's kind of a cool thing that you could segue into, is that cycling should give you awesome memories,
Yeah.
and stories,
Yeah.
and you know, everybody's like, oh, but did you die? Well, that's kind of cool too, but you know, there's not just, it's not just about the time on the bike. I mean, it gives me the opportunity to come talk to you guys about bicycles and things like that. So, you yeah, did you hang out and watch Sunday football? Yeah, I drank a bunch of Coors Light again. And okay, that's not cycling you can participate in. Watching football on TV is not participating. I guess you're participating in drinking crappy beer and getting fatter, but mountain biking, you can drink good beer and go ride and things like that.
And you can earn your beer when you ride.
Right. Definitely.
Hey, so you said stories. Yeah. Tell us some crazy stories. You got some crazy bike stories, man? What's your favorite? What's your favorite bike story?
Oh, I
totally put you on the spot.
You did.
In Bubbles, his memory's not working as well as it used to.
So I was going to ask you, did I need to do homework before?
No,
I
not at all.
Okay,
no, it's just a general conversation, man.
A lot of the stories that I have are, my experiences and then my version of an experience with somebody else riding their bike. So,
right.
I guess one of my brush with greatness, with quotes around it, is that I was on a breakaway.
This is on a road bike.
Yeah, let me back up. Okay. Junior cycling, 17 years old, and I didn't have a big, huge team in the Midwest. I was lucky enough that I had some cool friends that were from Chicago that would say, just pay attention. They wouldn't tell me what the plan for the day was or anything like that. They would just say, pay attention to what's going on, and maybe you can be successful. And
so what you're talking about is like tactics in the peloton.
Correct.
And that's a big part of like road racing.
Road cycling, and unlike the El Tour that just happened, it's very difficult to have one person stay away by themselves from hundreds like El Tour or 40. To the speed and aerodynamics don't work in your favor if you're by yourself. And so on this particular day in Wisconsin, I paid attention, and my buddies started moving towards the front, and I'm like, oh, stuff's about to happen. And so I positioned myself. There was a breakaway. I was able to get with the breakaway. It was about 9, maybe 11 of us.
Right.
And we're staying away. And at that time in my life, I weighed about 116 pounds.
Oh. Okay.
So
that was like 30 pounds ago?
Yeah. Okay. So we're going, and there's a descent, and mass. I steal it from one of my friend customers. He said, "Get out of my way, fat guys fall faster." I almost crashed on the mountain bike that day because he said that. But it's true, and so I'm trying to go down, and everybody is creeping away from me, and all of a sudden there's a hand on my back, and it says, "Hey, we got to stay together so I can win." And that was Lance Armstrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It was.
Did he win?
Of course.
Did you come in second?
No. Actually, that one I came in third in the sprint.
Wow.
Nice.
The kid who got second passed out in these people's front yard. It's in Wisconsin, road racing back in the day, and not in a town. And I saw some people come up, and he got picked up by some team that day. And it was a pretty cool experience. So my brush, and I've raced with that whole era, Bobby Julich and all those those people.
Yeah, like the post office guys, right, at that time.
Yeah, pre-postal stuff, who they ended up being. So now they're really...
That could have been you, man.
Yeah, could have. But I don't know. I didn't have the build for it.
Right. A lot of it's physiology, right?
Yeah, I'm not tall enough. And so then, the strength and stuff like that. So I had fun. Did Junior Worlds twice.
Right on.
And it was a lot of fun to do. But my emphasis, I didn't know it then. I definitely know it now, is to help other people be successful.
Right.
So another amazing experience, story type thing is I'm doing SAG support, mechanic support for the USMES, so United States Military Endurance Sports.
Okay.
And they're here in town doing a camp. And like we talked about, I know lots of people. So somebody's like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, hey, sure. And so I'm out helping them out. And for this, because I have such a knowledge of cycling, I can kind of pay attention to what's going on a little bit better, driving my big van around. And so I'm helping them out. Well, in this instance, there's a rider that gets a flat tire. And so, I don't remember, flat tire.
Some kind of mechanical.
Mechanical.
Yeah.
And so I help them get back going. And then because I can put the reverse camera on the van on while I'm going forward, I said, I'll motor pace you back. And she says, okay. And so she gets on the back of my bumper.
Yep.
And just keeps putting her thumb up, thumb up, thumb up.
Faster, faster, faster.
So I have her at 40.
This is flat, or is she going downhill at this point?
Actually, it was kind of a slight grade up.
Shut up.
We're going out to Kit Peak. So
wow.
That's what it was. She dropped her chain. And I had to help her get it because it flopped. Because those stupid rumble strips that are on the side of going out to Ajo.
Yeah.
And so got it back going. She's on there and up to about 40, and she's good. And then I just swing over and she goes right back into the peloton that's going out that way.
And that's all legal and everything.
This is not racing. It's just training. It was just a training.
Just training, right?
Yeah. And that's Rebecca Gross, and she's a multi-time world champion cyclocross racer.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Obviously there's thousands of instances with Jeremy, my son, racing BMX. And then when he transitioned from little wheels to big wheels and lots of suspension, being there when the first time he won national champs.
Right.
And then once again, because.
And he was downhill racer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he ever do enduro?
No.
Okay.
No. It requires pedaling. that requires pedaling. That's just so nonsense.
But you got to pedal on a BMX.
Right. That's why he transitioned to
That's
big
why
wheels,
he went to the big wheels.
Downhill.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
him and Skinner get along real well.
Yeah, it went from it was kind of an easy transition, I guess you could say, from going from elite level BMX, where you're training at the Olympic Training Center on a replica Olympic track, and the first jump is 40 feet with 20-inch wheels and no suspension.
Wow. Yeah.
To going on the same jump, and you've got full suspension, 29 wheels and 7 inches of travel.
Lots of suspension.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. So, and he wins the first national champ, and he does a podium, and he comes off the podium, and he looks dejected. And I'm like, you just won national champs. He's like, yeah, but I didn't get a national jersey, the Stars and Stripes jersey.
Why not?
Because he was a Cat 2. Category 2. You have to be Cat 1 or Elite Pro.
Right.
And so, because I'm a USA cycling official and a UCI cycling official, the head official for that event, I knew him, and I said, hey, Jeremy wants to upgrade. And so Mike comes over and talks to Jeremy and says, hey, you can't go back. He's like, hey, I can't get a jersey. So he's like, all right.
Put me up.
So he goes over to the computer, puts his number in, upgrades him, which, I mean, Jeremy has never sandbagged. I've never taught him to sandbag.
Yeah.
The false glory nonsense.
Yeah.
And so he upgrades him. Jeremy turns right back around the very next year and wins national champ.
As a Cat 1.
As a Cat 1.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And he gets the jersey, which I think is up in your shop, if I remember.
It's hanging in the shop.
That's awesome.
His gold medal's in there. His Olympic training jersey's in there. He's won Sea Otter a couple of times.
Which is a big deal.
It is. Yeah, definitely. It's the biggest cycling gathering of all types of disciplines in the States. You've been obviously multiple times. Yeah. And
are they still doing this? Is it still going, or did it get?
Yeah, I just saw an article that they're almost at 100% sold out for vendors already.
Are you going to go?
I would like to. There's so much stuff in the calendar.
Trying to make it all work.
Yeah, and that's an advantage and a detriment to living in Tucson, because you have to say, well, I'm a mountain biker. Okay. Are you cross country? You downhill? You enduro?
Because we have it all.
And because it gets too hot and nobody wants to ride in the dark, people try to compress the schedule into 4 months of beautiful weather.
Right.
Even outside right now, it's still beautiful. I mean, the rain is awesome and it's not that cold.
No.
So
I think we have 8 months of awesome and 4 months of awful in Tucson.
But, it's
my opinion.
Back to me trying to make people successful. You just have to explain to them, just because the big ball of fire has made it hot during the day, when it disappears, yes, the ambient air temperature is still hot, but it's not the same sensation. Put some really awesome lights on your bike
and go
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't, I've taken way too many people. Their very first ride
at night
was in the dark. and then they have.
You guys do like a week, is it Monday nights or something?
Nights. Yeah.
I got to come out to one of your Monday night rides.
Monday night, 6:30, and we either leave from the shop and do fantasy, or we come over right across the street and do Vail trails.
Yep.
And there's been so many people that we finally, they started when it's on a night ride, and that's the only time that they were riding. And then we meet them on the weekend, and they're like, wow, I didn't know this stuff was out here because I've never seen it before. There's other things out here.
More than just the 6 feet in front of you.
Yeah, right? You get that target fixation on the light, and you don't see everything.
I haven't heard target fixation in a long time, since the old days.
Yeah,
that's interesting to think about it in mountain biking terms.
Yeah, there's just so much that I that's the type of thing to help other people, because I have such a resource of knowledge, and if I don't know it, I know who to ask.
Right.
And then I can put those people together and try to, whatever you want to do, I want you to be happy and have fun at the speed of fun. When I opened the shop, I learned about conversational speed.
People want to come and talk.
Well, there's that, and Michelle would always, she had a code word. She'd yell Trixie at the shop, my wife, Michelle, because I talked too long. So she would say Trixie, and that meant that I was.
Does she still do that?
Well, no, she does not at the shop anymore. Okay. So yeah, but if she
does anyone in the shop do that?
No. Because I give them dirty looks now. I can give Michelle dirty looks, but it doesn't do any good.
No.
But I feel that, my name's on the building, so people want to come talk to me, and they know I'm a resource to help them have fun.
Yep.
And I think if you're more educated about what it is that you're trying to do, then
the more fun you can have.
The more fun you can have, and a side benefit is you're probably going to need parts or something. It's called commerce,
and that's your business.
That's right. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that you can go to. Unfortunately, there is that worldwide wackadoodles that think that they're going to sell you bike parts. I would like you to have the right information, and then hopefully that I reap some benefit from that information. The lights are on at my house, the lights are on at the shop. I get to go ride bikes.
Yep.
And that's pretty dang fun. So there's just a lot of stuff that I can give education for, to hopefully people make the correct decision if you have enough information, and not waste time or have a bad experience, and then that bad experience is the voice in the back of their head that says, just leave the bike hanging in the garage and go watch football. Something like, too many people, like I would tell the kids, as adults, too many people are afraid of the word fail. And I tell the kids that fail stands for first attempt in learning.
Nice.
If I can help out and get over that first attempt, then maybe it will put you down a road that will continue to ride bikes instead of, some other lame thing to do, and go have fun. And then the more people that are having fun, everybody's happier, and it just kind of snowballs into.
So Support your local bike shops. We're a kind of worldwide podcast. So
Right.
support your local bike shops. The knowledge they can give you is unmatched. And if you're if you are in Tucson, that local bike shop should be Ben's Bikes.
I'm one of a good handful of quality, and that's what I tell the kids too when I was coaching is I'm a coach.
You are.
Then I'm also the owner of Ben's Bikes. That doesn't mean being your coach, you have to come to my shop. If you have a rapport with a shop and you are friends with them and you value their information and their product, continue with them. And it doesn't mean that they have to be the only one though. You know, there are multiple people that know what they're talking about. They provide quality expertise and work on your bike or sell you a quality product, and you should continue with them and don't just throw them under the bus the first time that you have something. Have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And that we talk about that a lot right now. You know, I'm here talking with you guys.
Yep.
We're not texting this podcast back and forth.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. That is lost on a lot of people, keyboard rangers, and they have one bad experience. And instead of saying, hey, I wasn't quite happy the last time. And then there's that part of that education. Maybe the customer had a preconceived notion of what they thought they should get.
Right.
The mechanic did the best that they could for the product that was there, and those two things need to come together. And it's an education piece that if your derailleur cost $12, it's not going to work the way a $200 derailleur works.
Yeah. Right.
And so there's a lot of people that they have one fail.
Yep.
One fail, and that's it. And they don't do it. They won't ride their bike. They won't go back to a business. They won't. It's horrible that they won't have conversation.
Right.
They won't look people in the eye, and then they just all over the internet and try to allege their side of the story.
Yep.
There's three sides always.
Yep. Your side, my side, and the truth.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly what it is.
I got to tell you, I'm a pretty okay self-taught bike mechanic. I've built tons of bikes, got a little bike shop in the garage, and I could not imagine doing this as a profession. Like, because like 50% of the time I'll fix something and it's like perfect, and I go out and ride, and I'm like, ooh, and I'm good. I'm a good mechanic. And I'm like, ooh, that didn't work out quite right. And I can imagine all the people that just come back in and like, this didn't work. And it's, I mean,
and throw the last 3 years of the pandemic in the mix and sourcing product, and that must have been
how are things going these days, man? I mean, I know you guys were like out of product. I mean, everybody in the bike industry is out of product. How's it going these days?
So it has gotten better for, I guess, a typical cyclist. So somebody who has a bike that is sub $2,000, those parts are more available, and that is strictly, I think, because of the bean counters of those companies want to make money, and they're the really cool rad bikes that are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, all ultra carbon, super light. There's a lot less people that buy those than buy $1,000 mountain bike or $1,000 road
So you don't have
bike.
the quantities of scale, so the margins are probably lower for everyone in the chain on the higher end bikes than they are on the lower end bikes.
Yes, and so those things have definitely gotten much better. We can, somebody comes in and they say, "Hey, my friends have a mountain bike. I'm not really sure if I want to go ride at their level." Education, conversation. And we put them on something that is not going to break the first 25 feet.
So you don't just like push them to the $9,000.
Oh, absolutely.
Full carbon.
Everybody. Come on. You spend more money, it makes you faster, right?
Right.
Yeah. There is a lot of people that think that is in all disciplines of cycling. If I spend more money, I should be faster. Technically, if you spent less money, less French fries, less double cheeseburgers.
Take a look. You'll never see me on a super light bike until this is taken care of, which means you'll probably never see me on a light bike.
Nice. No, everybody, they think that they can buy speed or buy ability, and it just doesn't. It doesn't happen that way. You need to go ride your bike. You need to take some clinics. You need to go ride with people that are your buddies, that hopefully they're not too mean and like launch you off something that you shouldn't do, but they should challenge you. So then you get better, and them educating you, they get better as well. And that's what I told when I coached the kids.
Yeah.
The varsity kids or the junior varsity 1 don't want to come to practice. Oh, the kids are all slow. Like, okay, then you need to help them get faster. And if you can teach the idea, the technique, we'll really get better at it. And you get better at it because you've taught them how to get better at it. And they're chasing you. You need to try and go faster to stay away from them. So it's that snowball effect of education that helps everybody. So
you talk. Go ahead, John.
No, you got it. Go.
All right. So when you helped Grayson and Skander, our boys, when they were involved with the club, they also then could bring that back. And I can't keep up with those two kids when they're on the trail. Their level of balance and air time, whatever, it's pretty remarkable. But they did teach me, cornering that they had learned from the clinics and that. So yeah, really cool.
It's the difference between not a brand new rider, obviously, but somebody who's been riding for a while, and then the next level is very minute things that are put in succession to just then make things faster. You take a new rider and you could give them an $8,000 bike. They're still going to be slow.
Yep.
It's not the bicycle that is allowing them to go. It's their own abilities that are allowing them to go. And if they're like the kids, if they're hitting literally everything in the trail, that's slower. Well, A and B, I need to just go straight. No, you got to. They don't know how to pick a line, so they could have the best bike with the best suspension, and it's not going to get them there faster. Except for if you bought a Walmart bike, So then that falls apart, and then they're walking, so they're really not going to get there faster. But it just so the difference when you watch the World Cup guys, they're on the same bikes. Some of them, they've got pieces and parts that are prototype maybe, but it's just their ability at that level to link everything together at the same time is what allows them. And then their obvious threshold of pain is ridiculous.
So what got you involved at the junior, was it world level? Like, did you have a group of friends?
It was just, things were different back then in the way that you could participate in the junior worlds. And I got lucky that it was the qualification, once again, was in the Midwest in Wisconsin. And I had done a succession of races. You did still earn points, much like they do today. Like Brady is, Brady's earning USA cycling points.
Yep.
They same idea.
Brady's my nephew for our listeners. He's an amazing little 14-year-old kid that's like crushing it.
So I got the opportunity to go. I didn't win by any means, and so I didn't get to go then and put the USA jersey on and go participate in the junior worlds for road cycling at that point. But it was, I would race, and I did it for Jeremy because I learned from my dad what I should do as a parent. My dad drove me all over the Midwest. In our Honda Civic with my 2 bikes on top and going to races. And there was weekends that I would race 4 times in one weekend. I would race junior category, and then I would turn right around and I would be a domestique helper for guys that I knew in the Pro 1-2 category. And I have never won on the bike that's hanging in the shop. I've never been on the top of the podium, but my bike has, because I was kicked off my own bike and I gave it to one of my teammates, and he then went and won in a Pro 1-2 race.
Interesting.
So it was, rules are different back then too. And
I had no idea that you had this like heavy road background. Like, I know you as a mountain biker, because I think that's primarily what you do these days.
It is. I have a really nice road bike. I
would hope so.
I got suckered into doing L Tour. Not really, but I've always done L Tour as help. I did it as bike patrol.
Yep.
And then I told myself I had to slow down because I'm supposed to help people. If I see somebody on the side of the road, I can't go by them, so I can't go too fast, down Freeman Hill at 45 miles an hour. So then I took it as I would ride with customers who said, I don't think I can't go that far. I'm like, yeah, you can. No. I said, I'll ride with you. And we'll ride. And the first 3 times, I think we did 50. We did the 50.
Right.
And I sit there, and it's at conversational speed. I would talk with them, and by judging their conversation, I knew how much effort that they were putting out. The next thing you know, we're done. And they're like, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And I'm like, I told you could do it. Encouragement and support and education. So then we did the 75, and I had one specific customer that I was riding with, and this lady really she challenged herself beyond challenge. She unfortunately was divorced. That left her with 4 daughters. Raising 4 daughters.
I don't care who you are, that's a tough task.
Yes. To make it more difficult, she decided she wanted to become a lawyer.
Oh, perfect.
Wow.
While raising 4 daughters.
Good.
So she graduated from the U of A law, and now she is a public defender.
I don't know who this is, but kudos to that lady.
Yeah, she's amazing. But we're going along in the 75, and we're way up in Oro Valley.
Right.
And we're talking about time frames on what she had set for what she wanted to complete that 75 rail tour.
Right.
And we're riding along, and I think we're on Tangerine, just coasting down to the highway to go under the highway. And she's talking about, I thought we were going to do it in this time. And I said, no, that's not the goal I set for you. And she's like, what? And I said, no, I think you can do it much faster. Well, how much time do we have? And so I told her, and the look on her face was completely flabbergasted that she had ridden that fast, that far.
So you had gone way faster than she thought, and she had way more time than she thought.
Because I was judging from conversation how she was doing, and I was making sure that she was hydrating and making sure that she was eating. And we're going along, and she actually was able to we turned onto South 6th, and I said, there's the finish line. You're going to beat my expectation. And it was really cool. So I've also had other people. I got a call from one of my customers' husbands after riding with her, and he said, what did you do to my wife? And I said, I met up with her. And
that's never a good call. By
no, it was bad. I'm like, is she on the way to the hospital? What's going on? And I didn't even start out with her. I just happened to come upon her, and I ride with anybody. And so I'm talking with her, and she's talking back. That's my litmus test.
Yeah.
And then she tells me, we're going to go past my house. I'm going to pull off and I'll go home. And so I kept on, and I went home or back to the shop or whatever. And I get the phone call, and he said, what did you do to her? She's laying on the kitchen floor, the tile floor, with the ceiling fan on high. Well, I didn't quite judge her conversational speed. She was a little gassed, and so they're a fun couple. their kids are grown, and so they challenge each other with running and cycling and things like that. And so it's cool that I've helped them. They spend more time together and they have fun and they ride bikes and they do all kinds of like Tough Mudder stuff. But it's those kind of stories from the shop are way more fun than, being open for over 11 years and there's a handful of people that need a high five to the face that have come in.
Honestly, am I one of those people?
Absolutely not. So, there's you talk about stories and Michelle laughs that I have the gift of talking and there's lots of those things that you can apply to different people as you're going along. You're like, well, I have that experience. This person had a similar experience. I'll implement or educate in this way to try and help them have more fun on a bike. And you guys were talking about, 2 wheels and no motors. Yes, I do. I will, all full faith and credit. I do own, that's my personal one, an assisted electric cargo bike.
Pedal assist or
pedal assist?
Okay.
Pedal assist.
We just had a guest on earlier today that is really, really staunchly against this. So Mike asked him what he thinks about it, and we got an earful. So what is your thought on the e-bike revolution?
It's education, it's implementation, and then it is the word just escaped me, to enforcement. Enforcement. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, people they see e-bikes. It's this nebulous, it's got a motor and it's got a battery. It's an e-bike.
And there's a wide range of variables.
Yes, there's so many variables. And I'm not going to quote exactly, but I will tell you that there's 3 categories of e-bikes, legal e-bikes in the United States. 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 3, you have to pedal. 2 is a glorified electric moped. It does have pedals.
You just said something, I want to make sure I understood. You said legal. What did you mean by that?
So because of that World Wide Web, you can order stuff up that is not legal, but it'll be branded that it's a legal e-bike. So a class 1 can only assist you to 20 miles an hour. Doesn't mean the bike won't go faster than that. It's just above 20. It's not going to help you. And you have to pedal it. My class 3 that I've had that thing to 34 miles an hour, which was surprising, but I was going downhill. It's 81 pounds. It's a cargo bike.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big bike to go that fast.
It's rated for 360 pounds.
Oh, so I could ride it, no problem.
And still carry dog food and trigger peg.
A little bit of dog food, not a lot.
So that one above 28 miles an hour, there's some effort involved, but it'll still go. And then when you come back down below 28, it starts assisting again. The class 2s, which are the ones that are bastardized the most, are supposed to only go 20 miles an hour with the throttle.
Why are they bastardized the most?
Because they typically are lower quality and they will get inundated with ways to hack them to go faster.
Okay.
And they do. And so, I mean, as the shop owner, I get emails from all kinds of stuff. This is how you hack your Trek Giant specialized whatever e-bike. And they're giving me or wanting me to buy a little fob that I can plug in and make and change the parameters, the torque parameters, the take off governors, things like that. And our standards are way more lax than European standards. European standards go even slower. They will assist you to lower speeds than what ours do. And those class 2s, which when you see somebody that's bought a class 2, they don't ever move their feet because you don't have to. You just throttle and away you go. And
so hang on, let me make sure I understand this. So class 1 gets you up to 20 miles an hour.
And you pedal.
So it's pedal assist. Class 3 is up to 34 miles an hour?
28.
28.
And that's
pedal.
You have to pedal.
But then class 2 is a
Seems like it
20,
skips one.
No, but the bottom two, 20 and 20, and then 28. Pedal, no pedal. 28, you have to pedal.
That's weird. Okay, so this class 2 is a throttle assist.
Yes.
And it goes to 20. But people, that's when you say bastardize, people hack it, whatever, and whatever you get
faster
online.
than
Who
20.
knows? Okay.
And I saw a kid this week on the sidewalk going to Desert Sky, riding.
That's a school.
Going to middle school, riding on the sidewalk with a class 2 e-bike, and he wasn't pedaling. That irks me to no end that, one, the parents thought that was a good idea. The kid was teeny, and this bike probably weighs 3/4 of what his total weight is. He doesn't have the ability to handle that. And I know for a fact in the manual of that bike, it says you have to be 18 to ride it. He's going to middle school.
It's like a little motorcycle.
It is. It's an electric moped. That's what it is. And so he's on the sidewalk, not supposed to be on the sidewalk, bike path, 20s, depending upon the municipality, the two class 1 and class 2s can ride on bike paths. Class 3s, by law, can only be on bike lanes. So not the loop or things like that here in town.
Right.
The bike path. People don't care.
So what are you selling? Like, what's the mix between e-bikes and regular bikes these days in your shop?
Oh no, it's still the acoustic bikes.
Is that what you call them? Acoustic? Yeah. Is that the formal term, or did you coin that?
That's something that
I like that. That's a bubbles coin there. Acoustic bikes.
We call them acoustic bikes. That's not me. I probably stole that from somebody else. But we still, it's still 80% to 20%, because the ones that I sell are higher quality, so they come with a little bit higher cost.
Gotcha.
Most people that are seeking out those e-bikes are looking for the class 2s, and class 2s are typically a lot cheaper. I don't sell class 2s because I don't really believe in the throttle. I want you to pedal. I want you to go out and move. Mm-hmm. If you just sit on the bike, moving your arms is not giving you any type of exercise at all. At least if you have to pedal and it helps you, there's something going on. And it provides a need for adaptive athletes. Somebody that's trying to come back from knee, hip, ankle, whatever, heart, and they need some help. And the very first e-bike that I did was actually a retrofit. Another cool story. Usually involves some teary eyes, but customer comes in and wants her bike tuned up. And she said, and because I talk too much, I'm like, oh, you're going to get back out riding. And she says, no, I want to get it tuned up so that I can sell it. Well, why do you want to sell your bike? I mean, it was a nice bike. Why do you want to sell it? Are you getting a new bike? She's like, no, I can't ride with my husband any longer. So I just want to sell my bike. And I said, well, why can't you ride with your husband? Well, he's had multiple knee surgeries and he just can't pedal, and he's not able to play golf and this type of thing. And I said, how about when you come back to pick up your bike, bring your husband and we'll put him on a bike that's assist and see if that'll work for him. If the strain on his knees it's not too much, because we can change the level of assist. So they come back the following week and we put her husband on a bike with assist, pedal assist, and around the parking lot he goes, and he goes over by Ace Hardware around the parking lot. He goes over by the VA. He's got a huge grin on his face. She starts crying. I want my bike back. I don't want to sell it. And so we sold him that bike that's assist.
That's awesome.
He starts off on the highest level 5 of assist, the most that it can do, and is maybe able to do 10 miles, maybe. And that's not because of the range. It's just all his body was like, hey, you're pushing that as it is.
No muss. Yep.
Now, when he rides, if he uses assist, it's maybe level 1. He rides at least 20 miles a day. He is rehabbed enough that he can walk the golf course again and I mean, these
are the
great.
stories. These are stories that are like, this totally makes sense.
Yes.
This is
so,
perfect.
That little kid going to a middle school on adaptive athletes. There's so many. Another gentleman only had half of his lungs, so he didn't have the capacity.
Right.
He wanted to still ride with his wife, and he came in and we modified his trike, recumbent trike, to give it some assist. That type of thing. So I see the value in there. There's lots of those people that have a spouse or they have a friend that there's something that medically, not psychologically.
Say, can you do one for me so I can keep up with Lacey, please?
That bike doesn't exist yet. I don't think. No,
that's a class 100.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you a different bike and modify her bike.
Put her brakes on so they never stop.
Let's see. We'll make her brakes drag. We'll make sure the air doesn't inflate correctly. Gears don't. Yeah, we'll tighten the bearings down more.
That's perfect.
That'll work out for me and you because she'll need more bearings.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
See, that's good.
But I've just seen so many applications for the adaptive athlete for a medical issue, not that you're just like, screw it. I'm going to cheat. And
do you know who Ryan Beamish is? Does that name?
Of course.
So we had Ryan on.
Yep.
And we published his podcast today.
Oh, cool.
And he talked about Team Semper Fi and all the things that he's done with the adaptive athletes, and it's really cool, man. So it's cool to hear you talk about it as well.
Yeah, and in the past I've helped Ryan with multiple people.
Not surprised to hear that.
Yeah,
because you know everybody.
Well,
you know everybody. I know.
Almost. That whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing.
Yeah, 6 degrees of bubbles.
Yeah, thanks. Nice.
We're never going to let that die.
And so Ryan has done a bunch of good things with, and because of things that I've done or people that I know, we get them together to provide for these injured,
wounded veterans.
Yeah, definitely. So there's so many things that the e-bike can help. It's just too many people are just, they're getting the cheap ones. The other thing is that most of these ones that they're getting off the internet are not UL listed. They have zero testing at all. And so there's been a lot of instances.
That sounds sketchy.
Yeah.
That sounds like my garage burning down.
Dangerous.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And so that it is coming out and it's becoming more prevalent in news outlets of that they use them. A lot of them are classified as micro mobility. And so saying it's an e-bike is not, they lump everything together. So the micro mobility things can be those little Zoom scooter things or the one wheel that
my brother-in-law rides at
Yes.
48 miles an hour.
So that one, I think that those actually have a stop use. There's a model of them that has a stop use.
I don't know what that means.
So he shouldn't ride it because they've found, I don't know, it could be one idiot who ran into a tree. And so then the company freaks out and goes, oh, nobody should ride them. He should research it because I know that there was something that came out about that. But
I'll let him know.
But for in his instance, he is not the YouTuber that's out in flip-flops, shorts, and a baseball cap.
No, he's got a full downhill gear.
Yeah,
kick.
he is armored. He's got a DOT helmet on.
Yep.
So he's doing the things.
He also rides at like 50 miles.
Yeah. Oh,
on public streets. And
yeah, he doesn't ride on the
crazy.
bike path and stuff like that. So
were you with us when Punk Rock Dan tried that?
No, I was not.
So we went to Jason's house. Do you know what we're talking about?
No, but I think I've seen wheels.
It's like a.
So
no, this is not a one wheel. This
no,
is like it's different than a one wheel. One wheel looks, you sit on it like a skateboard.
Yeah.
This is like, I don't know, it's maybe a 18-inch wheel.
yeah, it's
18-inch wheel, and
in
it's
the
it's
center.
between your legs.
Yeah.
And super fast. And Jason rides it all over town, my brother-in-law.
Okay.
And so we go over his house one day, and Punk Rock Dan's there, and he tries it. And you can imagine what happened with Punk Rock Dan.
I tried to ride one of the. We did an event for the mountain bike kids out of 24, and one of the kids from the Oro Valley mountain bike team had a one wheel, not this one that Jason has. The actual
the one wheel that looks like a skateboard.
type thing with the big fat wheel in the middle. And somebody should have been videoing that. We could have made money on America's Funniest Video. Oh my gosh. The thing's peeling out and I'm falling off of it and everything. I did finally get it to move about 12 feet. And I'm like, okay, I'm pushing it. I'm done. So, but there's the UL listing, obviously United Laboratories, and they certify things that are safe. And many of these class 2s have zero certification. My dad, who runs our bike shop in Washington State, because it rains more there, so he gets more opportunities to research things. He was researching the actual number. It's like 2849, UL listing 2849, that says that they're certified. There is a European standard as well that some of the bikes have, which, depending upon, obviously, if you ask the UL listing people, they're like, no, that's not as good as ours. But typically, European standards are better than ours when it comes to safety.
From a safety perspective, yeah.
Yeah, safety perspective.
Yep.
And so my dad's researching, and because he doesn't have whatever settings or a VPN, he then goes home and he gets on his Facebook, and he's inundated with advertisements for class 2 e-bikes, tons of them. And so every one of them, he sent them a message. Is your bike UL listed? Is your bike UL listed? Almost 40 of them. Of those 40, one responded to him and said that they applied for it.
That's it.
That's it. And so they're selling these things to whoever wants to buy them, with disregard for conversation on what is your goal. If somebody comes in and says they want an e-bike from me, where do you want to ride? Not just, okay, here's an e-bike.
But you're selling, I can imagine if you're buying a name brand, if you're buying an Ibis or a Trek or a Specialized or a Giant, those are going to be UL tested bikes.
Yes.
And you sell name brand products.
Yes.
You're talking about the kind of Chinese knockoff.
But the problem is that with the way that the internet works, you pay a little bit of money and you make a website and it looks glossy, and you're in Phoenix and you buy multiple containers from China of a brand of e-bike. People, it's in their face, like it was with my dad. He's doing some research, and the next thing he knows, it says, I should buy this e-bike. And then in the way that those filters work, he gets inundated, and you think it's a name brand.
But it's not.
But it's not.
So this is where I thought this was the story, and I just Googled it quick. In July of this year, the fatal collision with the teenage e-bicyclists on East 22nd near Pantano.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I don't know much about the details, but at some point it becomes, very safety related thing here.
And it is, yes, we're free spirited and we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it. But that's your decision. And when things go south, you can't blame somebody else for your decision. Mm-hmm. And so there's a bunch of things that are going on right now in the bike industry. And if Mike said it or not, there's a lot of turmoil when it comes to e-bikes. From
a trail access perspective, that was his perspective was real simple. He's like, listen, just follow the rules. Right. Mm-hmm. If he's really big, So I think we'll publish Ben's or Bubbles after we publish Dr. Check-Eye, Dr. Check-Eye. So this would have been last week's podcast for those listening, but he was like, listen, he spent 20 years, much like yourselves, working with land managers, negotiating, working through, developing relationships, helping to ensure that we actually have trails to ride. And it's complicated and it's hard. And so he's like, hey, listen, I'm cool. If you want to ride them, it's fine. Just follow the rules.
Yep.
Because it's, otherwise we're going to lose access. Mm-hmm. Right. And we're going to undo a lot of the amazing work that we've done as a culture, up to this point. That was his perspective.
Yeah. So. And and I agree with him that what's going to happen is that, municipalities and administrations, it's very easy to just say no. And there's not a negotiation with it.
It's way easier to say no than yes.
Yes, it definitely. And then that we lose everything.
Right.
And there are places to ride e-bikes within the constraints of regulations that are already in place. The Arizona Trail is not one of them.
Right.
It's not.
Is Mount Lemon allowed?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Because I don't ride those kind. I didn't seek it out, and I probably should educate my customers more so they don't get in trouble.
Because if I was riding, I mean, I don't know about the laws, so obviously we advocate that you follow the rules. But if I was like an avid rider of like a downhill course, an e-bike sounds pretty sweet to me.
Well,
you can do a lot more laps,
right? And that's what people do. They self shuttle then with an e-bike.
Exactly.
I'm not exactly sure. That would be Tara and
we're gonna have Tara on from Homegrown, and
there you go.
They can tell us all about that.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. And
so stand by for that.
And they've got some stuff coming up that they're in proposal. So
yep,
it could be
working some new stuff.
Yeah. So, but go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt your thought, but what I'm hearing is the education piece, and I really like that, and then problem solving also. So when people come in your shop, so you mentioned that gal that you towed in or whatever it was in your van out in Ajo. Mm-hmm. So my father-in-law was an avid bicyclist, rode an old Cannondale. I think you've seen it, aluminum frame, maybe early 80s, late 80s. Anyways, he stopped riding years ago. He hurt himself. It was up to, what is that mountain?
Kit Peak?
Yeah, Kit Peak and back, so many miles. And I think that was his last like big ride on that bike. And I'm trying to get him back out on the loop or something. He almost got hit by multiple cars. So his wife was like, no more,
Right.
And so if we get him on the loop in a comfortable, good road bike, maybe come and see you at the shop and set him up.
I don't know that I would, if he hasn't ridden for multiple years, the option then is more hybrid-ish bike instead of full on road bike. Mm-hmm. As unfortunately as we age, the flexibility goes quickly, and so there is that piece of and the horse to water thing is difficult. I've had multiple purchases of bicycles that with the intent was good. Unfortunately, it's not received well, type thing. Mm-hmm. Most of the time that's with spouses, which is really hilarious. But
it doesn't surprise me at all.
And so, broach the subject with him and say, hey, the loop is safe, especially if you stay to the south, like the Julian Wash portion, the density of usage is a lot lower. So the potential for a negative interaction is a lot less. Yeah. Some guy on a triathlon bike in his aero bars, or somebody that's using it to commute on an e-bike that's a class 2 that they've jailbroke and are flying, and they're lucky that I'm going the opposite direction on my road bike, or I chase them down because they're not going to get away. They'd
get away from me.
I've chased on the Julian Wash. I chased a guy that was on a gas powered bike. And was
caught him?
I caught him.
Well, not all of us have raced with Lance Armstrong. Let's be honest here.
So,
Bubbles,
unfortunately, I had to stop because I was riding with 2 customers, and I got to where they had stopped, where they had parked, and the guy was lucky. But it's those people that I'll do whatever I want, and it's cars, it's bikes, it's anything that we always run into that. But so if you have somebody that used to ride or is thinking about riding, it's that education piece and the conversation and realistic expectations that, he's probably not going to go back up Kit Peak ever again. You just want him to keep moving. Yeah. As long as we keep moving, we don't die. And bicycles really are fun.
Can help us do that.
Yeah.
Hey, so if total hypothetical, if I had like a $2,000 budget,
he's asking for somebody,
and this is my friend.
Yeah,
and I want to get on a full suspension mountain bike. So first and foremost, question is a hardtail even an option? That's the first question. Second question is, you got about $2,000. What would you put a rider on?
And he's from Wisconsin,
and he's sitting to your left.
Okay. Yeah. So the bike portion, hardtail, you're going to get more for your money, definitely, because there's less moving parts. Mm-hmm. There's not a shock. There's only a suspension fork. You're going to get better aluminum. Like with my brand, they have 3 different levels of aluminum. Most people are used to, 60, 61, 70, 7005, 70, 75, those types of things. So you're going to get better aluminum, which makes the bike lighter. It's going to respond. The 6061 is not going to respond like the 7005 or the.
I don't know there's a difference.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
Oh.
The things that they bolt, and then all manufacturers are this way. If the frame is better, they're not going to bolt lower quality parts to it. So the whole thing is going to be a better product for the hardtail for $2,000. Then when you go to, you want to make it a little bit more comfortable, maybe make it a little bit more off-road utilitarian. You can go more places without beating the snot out of yourself. Then you're going to get not an entry level. It's going to, because the entry level would be less than the $2,000. Right at that $2,000 price point, you're going to get a full suspension that has name brand components on it, and they're not the bottom of the box components.
So what's the giant model you'd put them on?
A Stance.
That's
One.
Punk Rock Dan. Right.
Stance 1. And it's...
Is it Dior?
Yes. And so...
Okay, there you go.
I've always, after coaching the kids for 7 years, I've changed my theory on they should not give prototype parts to pros. They shouldn't.
You should give them to kids.
They should give them to kids because pros know how to ride bikes. They do, and they can. If you do this a 0.5 millimeter, it's going to perform better. Whatever. They know how to shift and they know how to ride their bikes, and they probably are going to make that prototype part last more than it should. Give it to a high school, middle school racer and say, go to practice. It's probably going to be broke before the end of practice. And you're going to get much better feedback on how to engineer your part. One of the kids that was on the team, we actually nicknamed him. He didn't pick it. He earned it. It was R&D, and it stood for Race and Destroy. His mom had a budget in the family budget. Per month, there was a line item that said Ben's Bikes because he would break everything. Wheels.
That's not my sister, is it?
No. Brady's actually he's pretty good at picking lines and stuff. He's had good education.
He's had good coaching.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's almost amazing.
So, those kids are just, and that's it. Well, my bike sucks. Well, why does it suck? It doesn't shift. Well, did you push the lever? What? There's a lever? I mean, we've had instances where people come into the shop and my bike's broke. What is it not doing? Well, it doesn't do this, this, and this. And so we put it in the stand and we go through it, and they're right behind us. At the shop, you can see when we check somebody's bike,
all visible.
And then all of a sudden they get their eyes get big and like, it's never done that before. What?
Did you press this button?
Where did you, and so we don't want to.
I'm having a hard time reconciling what you're telling me right now.
Oh,
people don't know how they bring their bike and say it's broken. And they haven't attempted to shift it.
Well, the people who sold them the bike did not give them the education piece. Mm-hmm. There is riding with a couple. Once again, I caught up to them or they caught me or whatever. And we're riding along and I'm like, hey, that's a nice bike. He had the top Trek Madone something. And then she had the top Live, which is made by Giant.
Right.
And they had the bikes and they're riding along and, I'm asking about, those are nice bikes. Are you having fun? And they're like, yeah, but the first we were having kind of some issues. Her bike was electronic shifting. They never educated her on how to charge it. She actually was disconnecting wires to the derailleurs and things like that to try and figure out, well, this thing that plugs in doesn't round peg.
Probably spent a lot of money on that bike. with no education.
Yes, exactly. And you shouldn't expect as a retailer that the customer comes in smarter than you.
Right.
A lot of them are, because they have time to fall down the rabbit hole of the item that they want. And so they're ultra system knowledge experts on that one specific thing. And so they come in and they're telling you this stuff, and you're like, hold on a second, let me look that up. You're probably right, but let me make sure.
Yeah.
And then with his, he didn't have a good experience. And these weren't, I don't sell Treks, and she didn't buy the lid from me. But his Trek, they had a problem with that. You know, he said he had to take it back like 3 times to get the SRAM shifting to work. You know, it's SRAM red. It is the best components road that SRAM makes. Our job as a retailer and a mechanic is to do what the engineers put into it. And this stuff works. So it's that they didn't set the bike up correctly. That wasn't him. And then the education piece for her on how to use her bike. You know, you get to the end of, 18,000 shifts and the battery's dead. And then for a Shimano bike, you can't shift at all. At least for the SRAM Red, you take a battery and you move the battery, and then you could at least get yourself home without having a single speed. And so it's those experiences that make people go, let's go run. Okay, and that's really dumb. So,
no offense to the runners out there.
Yeah. Running is what you do when something's chasing you, and you only have to be faster than your buddy. And swimming is what you do to keep from drowning. But there is people who put all 3 of those together and are successsul. And
they're crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely that's a different ball of wax. And I don't know a lot. That's why I hired Frank. He's an international tri coach, and he's nuts. He's actually with his wife in Palm Springs right now. She's doing a triathlon in Palm Springs.
Awesome. Nice.
So
where's there water in Palm Springs?
There's probably a lake or something.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, I don't know. He told me that she has to wear a wetsuit because the water temperature is going to be like 50 or something.
Oh, that sounds fun.
No. Well, he just came back from helping at the Tempe Ironman.
Yeah,
that was a couple weeks ago. They were pulling people out of Tempe Town Lake because of hypothermia.
Wow.
It was nuts.
Yeah, I would not jump into Tempe Town Lake.
Well, that's a whole nother. Oh, yeah. I don't. Did they not know that water goes in your mouth and that? Never mind. Yeah. But so, and that, like I said, on that education piece, I don't know how to integrate running and cycling and swimming. That's why I have Frank.
Yeah.
I can help you with the bike. I can make the bike go fast. Something cool that we just did that I get myself into, and this was probably the nerdiest bike thing that I've done to date.
I'm going to question this, but keep going because you've done some nerdy ass things.
So
and I don't know you that well, so
we got the opportunity. There was a gentleman that came down from Canada, and he brought aero testing, not in a wind tunnel, but we went up on the loop, up by Camino del Oeste.
Okay.
The loop crosses there.
Yep.
And they set up a 1 mile segment, and they put, for those aircraft people out there that are listening, they put a PDOT tube on my handlebars.
Pitot tube
on my handlebars. Yep. Underneath.
We use those when we test missiles as well.
And go fast.
Yep.
Yeah. So we put that on, they put that on my handlebars. And the first time I just had to go set the Garmin to get the lap. And then after that, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to push start and stop, and the Garmin would take care of the segment.
Right.
And so first 2 times it was to zero the Garmin and make sure everything was talking, and the Pitot tube was talking to the app, and they could download everything. And so then,
where did they put the Pitot tube on your bike?
Right below the handlebars.
Okay.
So it was essentially, it put it between the shifters, the brake shifters, almost right in there.
Yeah. Right underneath your stem, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so then I was to push start, and I was to maintain a specific wattage output out, get past the line, make sure I went far enough past the line that the Garmin would understand that I did that, turn around, and then try to do the same wattage back.
Were they tracking wind speed and all that stuff at the same time? Do you know? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. That's what made it difficult, because the same wattage going back
was harder.
with a tailwind.
It was different. Yeah.
Yeah. With a tailwind, it's like, whoa, I'm flying.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with total, it was about 24 miles that I did that day.
Okay.
And so
it was 1 mile, so you did like 12 mountain backs, basically.
Yes. For those math challenged. Yes. Some mountain bikers might be math challenged.
No.
Yeah.
Not just mountain bikers. Come on.
Okay. Yes. So we did everything from riding like a typical cyclist where your arms are straight and hands on top. Then we'd put my hands down at the drops, the bottoms of the road bars.
Right.
And then super aggressive with elbows bent, back flat, hands, thumb and forefinger around the brake levers, on top of the brake levers. And then we got fun. Put on my mountain bike helmet that I use for night riding, so it's got a light on it.
Right.
That was a 40-watt difference putting that helmet on.
And just to put it in perspective, like what would your normal, on a mountain bike ride, what would your normal wattage output be?
Oh, that I don't really keep track of it on that.
250?
No, gosh, no. That's
less than that.
I would love to have 250. I could actually probably
200,
be fast.
200?
Yeah, 200.
Okay,
or whatever.
so I just want it percentage wise, right? So like what? That's 20%. 40 watts is a 20% difference in wattage output just by having a different helmet.
And I didn't even have a super aero road helmet on that day. It was a nice road helmet, but it wasn't one of those teardrop ones or anything. And then
you should get one of those. I think you'd look real good in one.
I don't think so. It wouldn't go good with my beard.
With your beard.
So
wait, listen. So you had to have. Did you tie up the beard?
We did.
What was the difference?
So we put my beard in a ponytail. I put it underneath the helmet strap and into my jersey.
Wait, let me guess. Was it 20 watts?
It wasn't even that much.
No.
It was 4-watt difference.
That's still
beard.
That's still over 2%.
So
is that 2%? No,
the biggest thing that people forget is
2%.
like, okay, big deal. But if you're riding for a triathlon and they're doing an Ironman triathlon is 112 miles or something, that adds up.
So it's 2% harder for you to ride with your beard out. Now, here's the big question. Like,
I'm not shaving it. I'm not shaving it. Nope.
But are you going to at least like...
Oh, I play around all the time.
You do play around.
If Brittany's in town, she braids it or whatever. But no, I'm not doing it. But I will tell you that like now for 24 hour, if it's daytime, I'm wearing my road helmet. I'm going to wear my road helmet. It's
40%.
Why would I wear
40 watts, 20%?
Oh yeah, thank you. You have 40 watts.
Why would I wear? I mean, they both have the same safety rating. I just wear sunglasses, visor. For 24, you're not usually right behind somebody, so you don't have to worry about something kicking up, and the visor saves you.
All right, so if it's that big of a difference, why are the mountain bike helmets designed the way they are?
I think it's a lot more to do with the other environment. Typically the typical mountain bike rider is slower, and there is a lot more opportunity to need the helmet than just have the helmet.
Right.
And they all meet the same safety requirements. A big misconception right now is this MIPS or other things.
Why is that a misconception? Because I'm sold on it. So
it's good.
Educate me.
It is good, but you can't quantitatively test it because of the way that it moves inside the helmet. To try and use the same testing that unfortunately was from the 70s for helmet standards. We're taking a cadaver skull and dropping it down an elevator shaft. That's how they did it. Look it up. That's how they did it. It was crazy. MIPS, multi-angular impact protection system, one additional level of safety, and they know it's safer because typically mountain bikers.
But you're just saying there's no way to quantify it, or at least today.
Yeah. Today.
And is it University of Illinois or Pennsylvania? Where do they do the testing? I can't remember. It's one of the universities in the East Coast, like in our old stomping ground.
Oh, crud.
This is the second time on this podcast that I've screwed this up, so we are going to learn this, Mike. He's look it up, bro.
Research.
Look it up, bro.
GTS. He's GTS right now.
What's that?
Google that
stuff. Shit. We can say shit on this podcast.
Okay, Google that shit right there.
GTS.
GTS.
Right.
So So I have a pretty good relationship with Callie, the owner of Callie Protectives.
Yep.
His name is Brad. He's an amazing guy. I'm sitting here talking to you because of one of his helmets. I crashed at 28 miles an hour to my head. 6.5 hours of my life I won't get back, but because of his engineering in his helmets, I didn't die. No, I didn't die. Did you die?
Yeah.
I did get to get every alphabet test at UMC at the time, but
that didn't make the top 10 stories or top.
No, that I don't remember it. I can't. It's a terrible story. It's all hearsay. So Brad uses a different. He doesn't use MIPS. He uses a different.
It's Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech does that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike. He uses a different standard of stuff that he has created, LDL, and in MIPS. LDL or
there's several different companies that have like different, it's the lateral movement, right? Or the
only MIPS moves. Only MIPS moves.
But the whole the concept is to design yes. I'm shaking my head. I don't know what the right words to use here, Mike or Ben. So help me with the right words.
So it is. So typically when you crash, especially on a mountain bike and road bikes too, you don't just smack something and stop.
Right.
Like when I crashed, I hit my head. And then I bounced and hit my head and bounced and hit my head. And so there's
a lot of things that are coming into, I understand now. Keep going.
So the helmet has to stay to protect you. And if it can't move, the potential for the whole helmet to move around your head and then not provide the protection because it's no longer where it's supposed to be. And so that's why the moving of the helmet. So Brad's look, on a grand scale, they look like octopus suction cups. And so they're on your head and the helmet can move and come back. Where the MIPS has got that shell, then it moves and comes back.
It accomplishes the same objective.
Right. And then like Laser, which is a Shimano brand, has Kineticore.
Yep.
And so those collapse but keep the helmet in the same spot as well. And so those helmets are much better. But even road helmets have them. It's just the bulk of why they're a little bit bulkier. The vents are in different places because the speeds are slower on a mountain bike. You don't have, you're not caring as much about to dissipate the heat and things. It dissipates differently. And then like Lacey did an enduro. So typically those type of helmets come farther back down on the back of your head to the base of your skull because there is a potential that you could hit your head in the back.
Well, she was wearing a Fox Pro frame, like full face.
Yeah. Finally.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she's beautiful. So I want her to
that
stay
whole
beautiful.
Thing that she has that interesting head shape that we went from one size to another size and it didn't correlate.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. It's, and that's another education piece.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to buy a helmet. Okay. What are you using the helmet for? Okay. These are the selection of helmets. What color do you like? What does that mean? Because if it's ugly, you're not going to wear it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Well, I like that one. Okay. Go ahead and put it on. Okay. Looks good. Doesn't look like a beer cooler on your head. Do you wear glasses?
Yeah.
Do you wear glasses?
Yeah.
Why does that matter? Because some
it
helmets
matters.
come way down. You can't wear glasses.
And what glasses do you wear? Because it depends on.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now that we've got those things, okay, I'll take this one. No, put it back on. Why? Because I'm going to set the straps on the side for you. Really?
Oh.
Yeah, it needs to be fit to your head. If you go home and you leave them, those helmets come out of the box and they don't fit anyone. They're not, the helmets are put together, put in a box and shipped to us. They're not set up for anybody. And most people would not take the time to Google GTS, the proper way to put the straps.
Google
on
that
there.
shit.
And so
we got to send Punk Rock Dan to see Ben.
Well, Punk Rock Dan got his bike from.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But we like the helmet.
Oh yes. Just for the
Oh,
helmet
my
Do you know
side.
who Punk Rock Dan is? Do you know this Dan McInnes? Do you know that name? Retired
Probably
Navy
if I-
Admiral.
if I
I'm
saw
sure
it,
if you met him,
yeah.
he's a good friend of ours, a riding partner. And but his helmet is always like my sister Sarah, my sister was over last night and she's like, "Hey, I saw Punk Rock Dan." I'm like, "How'd you know it was Punk Rock Dan?" Well, his helmet was crooked. It's always crooked.
and that's something that now that I've stepped down from being the head coach for the Vail schools.
Yep.
I told those kids that I am now their mentor and their number one cheerleader.
Nice.
And I have then taken on the role as the part of the ACA that puts on.
So what is it? What is the ACA and what do you do for them?
So Arizona Cycling Association.
Okay.
They are the sanctioning body, one now of the sanctioning bodies for high school, middle school racing in the state of Arizona. And so through some life changes and family changes, I stepped down as a head coach. When those things...
So you were the head coach of the Vail mountain bike team here in just east of Vail is a suburb just east of Tucson. For
not Vail, Colorado. That would be a different
Vail, the better Vail.
Yes. So Tim and I started it. I was a head coach for 7 years, and then had to make the decision to step down. Things didn't quite end up the way that we thought that they were going at that time, so it allowed me to stay, Michelle and I to stay, and so then...
Did you think you were going to have to move or something like that?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
Yes.
I don't want to get too personal, man. I'm sorry.
So then Mike Perry, who's the executive director, I said, I was simply, hey, I'll be your neutral support at all the races. So then the footprint for me was a lot less. It's 5 weekends instead of 8 months, things like that. And I can commit to that in case something does go south.
Right.
And so Mike's like, oh, no, that you're not neutral support. I've got other plans for you. So my official title...
That's what she said.
...is that I'm the assistant race director for the ACA. What really ended up being the FNG.
Dude, I know the first one's fuck, but what are the other two?
New guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you get all the bitch work basically?
Well, no, it was kind of, well, one of them, yes. But, as I do with everything, I try to improve things. And so I took it upon myself that for the starts of the races, all categories, every wave, girls, boys, freshmen, varsity, 6th grade, middle school, boys, I check every end of a handlebar. Everyone has a bar plug.
Oh, nice.
And the kids are like, what are you doing? I'm saying, and so I point at them, I'm saying, so you don't take a core sample out of your buddy right there. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, that'll take a core sample if you crash.
It also scratches sides of your car in your garage.
No, that never happens. No. And so then at the same time, because I'm already looking at
you just walk around with bar ends in your pocket.
Well, ESI is a sponsor of the ACA.
So they gave you a bunch of them.
So I have, it's actually in a Twizzlers, the Costco sized Twizzlers bucket.
Yeah.
And the kids see the Twizzlers bucket and they're like, are you giving us candy? Well,
no.
If it's plastic, yes. So,
I'm giving you bar ends.
So the big
shout out to ESI.
The first, oh yeah, definitely. They're helping out the kids greatly.
That's awesome.
And in the first race of the season this year, the 6th grade, you can tell which ones take care of their bikes and maybe which ones don't, because every 6th grade boy, I think, just dumps their bike over. And so all those bar plugs are smashed in. There's probably one kid in the ACA, his handlebars are going to start rattling because I know I put four in the end. And you can't get them out, so I just kept pushing them farther in. Yeah. So at the same time, I'm looking at him, and if I saw somebody like him, I'm like, oh, you're not racing because your helmet's not on. It's not going to do any good. And so, hold on a second, and I adjust their straps for them or whatever. And and so I've fire marshal Bill type thing, the safety guy. And so I'm checking them out so if they should need it, it's going to do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And so then I do that. And then I also have been tasked with doing the award ceremony. And because of my years of announcing, I've made some changes.
At the BMX course.
Yeah. Then Desert Sunset. Now it's Tucson BMX.
Yep.
I've been doing it long enough that a lot of these kids I've seen since they were 6th grade. And so I have got anecdotal stories about them and things like that. And then we made 2, and some people won't think it's a drastic change, but it matters to the kid, especially an impressionable kid. They go up there and they look at the printed out results, and because they have a different type of last name, it's only their first name. The field isn't big enough, and it doesn't put their last name, or they have a hyphenated name.
Right.
It only puts the first name and doesn't put the second name. Or it's a Spanish name and it's de la something long, and it butchers it. And so we had to sit and go through fonts, not change the field size because it's a program that they paid for.
Yep.
So we went through fonts, and even though some fonts are 8-point, they're still narrower than other fonts.
Yep.
We changed the font, so now it prints their names. And cool. So
it's a big deal. I mean, someone's name is a big deal.
Exactly.
Right.
So they see their name. I get to announce their name correctly and all of it. And then another change that we did is I had the scorekeepers add an additional query so that even with the middle school kids, I can see that they did improvement. There'll be an up or down or a plus minus, And so I'll say, hey, Brady Hogue,
yep,
going up improving one spot from last race to the top spot.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal for the kids.
And so I learned from the BMX kids a long time ago that if somebody that is an adult in a position of authority or intelligence or whatever notices them other than their own parents, it is a huge deal for those kids. So
that's let's repeat that.
That is
if an adult notices a child for some good deed other than their parents, that is a huge perspective, or that makes a huge impression on that kid. So all you adults out there, go recognize a kid that you see do something awesome.
Yeah, it can be the difference. The BMX track is really it's a concentrated location that you can really change kids, definitely, because of that failure thing that we talked about before. Right. You get somebody out there, especially smaller ones, and they see this massive tabletop. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. Why not? So parents are out there. Of course, parents are like, you need to pedal. You're not doing it right. Do this, do that, do this. And the kids just shut down. It's their parents screaming at them yet again that they're not doing something or they're doing it wrong or whatever. I or any of the track volunteers are alongside the BMX course. And you can do it in mountain bike too.
Yep.
But we're out there, and once again, you tell them what they need to do, and then you're right there to encourage them, and they make it up on top of that tabletop, and you can almost literally see the light bulb go off, and that kid then accomplished something, and that can change them right there. That
that same tabletop, Grayson came up when he was like 5. Chuck Spaniard was Marshall. Yep. Yeah, Grayson didn't make it. Chuck's there. He catches him, and he showed him how to do it, and that light bulb went on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And he loves riding to this day. And then when we left, his question to us, me and my kids, was who had the most fun. That's who won.
Yep.
I always remember that.
Yeah, Chuck and Debbie Spaniard. They took us in when we started over at Manzanita, and Jeremy rode on their team for a while.
Okay.
And
Aho Bikes? No.
Yes, it was Aho Bikes at the time. The team was from Aho Bikes, and we like kids going fast, but we much more like kids being successful at what they're attempting. And so, Chuck and I would help kids. We would also help parents, and that's part of the piece. We'd have these pros come in from out of town and do clinics, and we would tell the parents, you're more than welcome to stand out there and listen to the instruction,
but don't talk.
Correct. But what your piece is you're supposed to take this stuff in. So then when the pro goes away, when you say pedal, it's coming from you. When you say the pro told you to do this, it's not you anymore that you're just saying it. It's still the pro that's telling them to do something. So it's not coming from you. It's still coming from that pro. You can say the exact same thing, but if you don't add that prefix of Bubba Harris, prime example, Bubba Harris told you to do this. And the kid's like, oh yeah, Bubba said, because Bubba did a great job of, bonding with the kids. And so they would just soak stuff in like crazy, and they can't remember it all from that single day. So
Right.
if you remind them of things that Bubba said, it sticks better. Mm-hmm. So any time that you can encourage a kid, it is the opportunity to flick a switch, definitely.
Great takeaway.
Dude, okay. So I want to give you some thanks. First, I want to thank you for your service. How many years?
22.
22 years.
Air Force.
Active duty Air Force. Thank you so much. Every man, woman, and child in this country is in debt to you. Thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. And then I want to personally thank you, like in my personal and my family cycling kind of journey. You have been a big part of that from the time that we took our smallest son to your track on his Strider, all the way up through you being here today and everything in between, and everything that you do for our community, and for bike culture in Tucson and beyond. Thank you very much, dude. Yeah. We really appreciate you. I thank you for coming and talking to us today. This has been super great. And please know, anytime you want to come and talk, you have our microphone.
Cool. Absolute pleasure.
Is there anything that you'd like to promote or talk about or let the world know about? Besides the fact that Ben's Bikes is an awesome bike shop in Tucson, Arizona.
Get outside. Like I'd already said, if you have a bike shop, and obviously, hopefully people everywhere are listening to this.
Yep.
Keep cultivating that relationship with your bike shop. And just because you read it on the internet, it happens in the bike industry too. Doesn't mean it's the gospel or it's going to work, or you even have the things that you can upgrade to. I want 12 speed in the back. Okay. Your bike can't fit 12 speed. I'm sorry. And that's a whole nother conversation. Just because you see the new latest, greatest shiny thing doesn't always mean it's better and doesn't mean it's going to work. So utilize the actual people who know, as opposed to somebody who's typed something on the internet and they're probably just trying to sell you something. And seek out people to go ride with. There's so many times that we've had somebody come in and they're like, I want a mountain bike, but I don't know who to ride with. Mm-hmm. And so obviously we invite them to come ride with us, Monday nights, 6:30. But I tell people, I say, I guarantee if you go to work tomorrow after buying the bike and say, I got a new mountain bike, there's going to be at least 12
bunch of people.
12 people like, okay, on Saturday, this is where we're going. And you never knew. It's just because you didn't have that common bond. And that's one of the cool things with the school kids is 6th grade to 12th grade. Those kids are now all peers across 6 years of typical, you're just a little kid. And some of those little kids kick the snot out of the older kids. And so even though there's a 6-year age range, there then becomes a respect and a bond that they're forever. It happens across the street all the time. You go over there and you're like, wow, those kids all rode together. And there's freshmen, there's seniors, there's 8th graders. Yeah, and all those names I have right now. It's easy. It's easy. Those kids are, and they're not out there. They're not out there to belittle or berate or make fun of. They're out there because of the camaraderie and the commonality. They all ride bikes and they go have fun. And the next thing you know, they did 18 miles and they were probably laughing and giggling and the whole time. And next thing you know, they did 18 miles and they didn't know how much that was good for them. Yep. They're outside. They're doing something physically active. Over here in Vail Trails, you can see tons of wildlife and wow, there's not just the internet or my Instagram, TikTok phone crap. So yeah, it's definite. Go ride your bike.
Go ride your bike
at the speed of fun.
At the speed of fun. Yeah. Buddy, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for being awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
you dig it? Can you dig it? Can